What up, my friends? Robin Black here. We are at Budo MMA. We're shooting here for a little bit. We might shoot here for a lot bit. We'll see. Up in North York, come see us here, Budo MMA. Also, a shout out my friends at No Name Saint. Hooked me up with a bunch of stuff for my my live show, first ever, December 17th, including this awesome Kiss shirt. NoNameSaint.com. Go check them out. I love their stuff. And they're No Name Saint on Instagram. I'm Robin Black MMA on Instagram. There's tons of killer fights at UFC 218. Mark and I are going to, I'm going to leave this here. Mark and I are going to Detroit this week. So we're hoping to get a bunch of sit downs with some fighters and coaches and all types of different people. So I'm pumped about that. Actually, I wonder if Rogan will, he's at 218. Let's send him a message. Maybe he's not busy. He's very busy. Very busy. That dude's killing it. So lots of killer fights. I really like Cejudo and Pettis. Really like this fight. I was talking to Pettis' people, Duke Rufus, in, February or March. No, even before that. Yeah, we got him in Dallas and we were chatting. But in February or March, I was down in Vegas and we ran into him. Me and Ramdeen did an interview with him. It's, if you put in John Ramdeen, Robin Black, and Duke Rufus, and Fight Network, it'll pop up on the old Fight Network stuff. We were chatting, and then he just wandered in, and we pulled him in, and he said they wanted to fight Henry Cejudo. That was the fight they wanted, and that's February. So they've had that idea in their mind for, going on 10 months. So a lot of people saw Henry Cejudo versus Wilson Hayes. And there's some interesting conversations to come up about that. So the very first one is context, okay? Context is everything. So everything. Now, when we've tried to compare and study fighting and learn as much as we can and analyze it and learn more about it so we love watching it more and we understand it, and then in other ways we're surprised, it allows us to ask new questions. That's part of the journey of being a super fan of anything, right? When we do that, a long time ago, people would say, well, this guy beat this guy, and then this guy beat this guy. I don't know if you're picking it up, but there's some noise in the background. Just disregard it, it'll be gone. This guy beat this guy, but he beat him, therefore he beat him. They called that MMA math back in the old days. And we know that that doesn't necessarily work, but what is important is, who the fuck was it you fought, and what are they good or not good at? So a lot of people saw Henry just fucking annihilate Wilson Hayes, and he looked great. But the context is, what is Wilson Hayes skilled at? What is he good at? How do his skills work together? And so what that taught us, and a lot of people, I know a lot of us, and it's natural to feel this way. We're like, holy fuck, Henry Cejudo is a brand new thing. His striking is incredible. His striking was beautiful that night against that guy. It's important. It's important. If you put a different person, and I know that some of this is naturally logical, but our reaction to the things that we see often, and this is a very modern, this moment in culture thing. Everything to a lot of people, or a lot of things to many people, I should say, ends up being, holy shit, this guy's maybe he's the best ever. Or somebody loses and go, they're terrible, they suck. Most things are somewhere in between. And on the night that Henry Cejudo looked brilliant, the natural reaction of, oh my God, his striking is off the charts now. That is a natural, it's not wrong, it's not crazy, it's not stupid, it makes sense. But it's not necessarily true. It is a one fight sample size. And in that context, Henry Cejudo had a beautiful night. So we don't know what that means. Not really. So, and how did he do it? How did he look so good? Why was it so beautiful? Well, he was fighting a southpaw, and he started playing, unlike what he did in the past, and I think Professor Cordero maybe was somebody he worked with along that time. And he hadn't before. And what you saw before that was a wrestler, great wrestler, obviously we know he's an Olympic fucking gold medalist. He'll tell you that. A lot of times he mentions it. Love him though. I don't mean, sorry, I pulled my lace here. I don't mean to sound like a dick, and I probably did, so I'm sorry. But he's obviously a brilliant wrestler, comes up from wrestling, powerful, fit, Mentally strong, he's a winner, all those things. When they taught him to box, he'd work really hard, but mostly what he did was punch. And I don't just mean those were the choices over kicks. It was, he is punching. He's not moving. It wasn't about where his feet were as much. It was about, I got a mean straight right, and I got a mean left hook, and I got a decent jab. Look at me punch. Fighting and punching are not the same thing. Punching is an element of fighting. And when young fighters train, one of the things they do is, I got to work my punches. Fuck, I'll keep working on that punch. Older, experienced fighters, the Alistair Overeems of the world, the punch is a little part of the thing. Where are my feet? How is my balance? Where am I at? What's my rhythm? What's my read? What am I experiencing here? What's our relationship at distance? All of these things. The punch is just a tool. It's not the thing. It's something you use. So Henry was very much an inexperienced puncher. And what we saw last was a big focus on the thing that is the most, or has been, the most kind of concentrated on over the last half decade or so, and that is the game of where we are in relationship to each other. A couple of key ones we've been talking about just this week, and don't worry, you're going to see more of it. You know, started with Stephen Thompson changing the game. Lyoto Machida, sorry, I always overlook Lyoto Machida. Lyoto Machida changed the game, and people understood. He was hard to beat, he was hard to understand, he was hard to hit. Now people can get it. They understand it. Because it took a few years, the coaches had to really, truly get what was going on. And then you have to find a way to implement it, train it, and practice it. Do we drill it? Is it done with footwork? Is it done with different tools that we don't use? The coaches must develop systems. People will often, say, oh, that guy trained really hard, he's whatever. It's great. Hard work is important, but they're all fucking working hard. So it's who is using techniques or skills or tools or knowledge to get the most out of that hard work. So they all started to learn a little bit. Some Faraz talked to me about even a few years ago. It's like, there's some real good karate guys in every gym who can play a Lyoto style. Then Stephen Thompson was a little different. Conor McGregor really was a big piece of that. And I talked about this on another breakdown. I think maybe I forget, maybe Ngannou, I forget what we were talking about, one of the other ones this week. Those guys were looking at it going, yeah, okay, he's flashy and he's loud and he's making a lot of money, but there's something that kid's doing with fucking distance and timing and space. And so they all started learning it. Kelvin, just the other day, we got a little breakdown on the YouTube channel with Mike. It's a game of out and back in, which was the game against Aldo, which was the game against Alvarez, which was how Ngannou beat Arlovsky. How and where your head is, your target in connection to his weapon, and your weapon in connection to his target. It's the game. That's what Henry developed for that last fight, and Wilson Hayes not as fully formed in that area. So I've spent a long time trying to find my way around explaining this in as honest a way as possible, without using the obvious things that don't let us ask more questions. I'm trying. So anyway, so if that is making sense, makes sense to me. I may not be doing a great job of making it make sense. If not, I apologize. I'm trying. I love what I do. So anyway, so that is why, one of the possible reasons he looked so good. So again, context. Fucking Pettis, Sergio Pettis, this is not the same thing. That game of, hey, the last year or 2 years, whether we learned, I thought it was Professor Cordero, who's very good at it. Kelvin learned a lot about that from him. That Henry all of a sudden, hey, look, I'm pretty fresh in the last 18 months at playing this game of being in to hit you and being out and you chasing and then catching you coming in. Great game. Fucking Sergio's been doing that since he was 9, This is not like, that shit isn't going to just work on him. So when but Cejudo's amazing. He fucking looked great. He shows you how much he can learn and how much he can develop in a short period. But if I'm Sergio, I fucking hope he's going to try to play that with me. We're going to try to play a game of who's in range and who's not in range, who can touch whose chin and make the other one miss. Fucking rights if I'm Sergio Pettis, I want to be playing that. I had the great privilege of calling Sergio's first fight. And I think it was like fucking 2006. I think. No, maybe 2008 now. You want to pull it up? Mark's going to pull it up. It was in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and he fought this kid. And the guy was like 0-4 on record, and actually I think he was actually 0-6, but he was a badass, actually. They offered him to me before, and they're like, yeah, take him. He's just, you know, and I'm like, holy fuck, that guy's... He just fought real fighters. Jason Sago at 155, and he was actually a 135er.
Yeah, 2011 was his debut against
Kyle Vivian, yeah. So Kyle Vivian, I don't think ever ended up winning an MMA fight, but he fucking was a badass in every one of them. He fought Jason Sago at 155 pounds, and Kyle Vivian's like 5'3". So and they knew it too. And it was my friend Marc-Andre Drolet and their company that ran that fight, and they knew Kyle Vivian was dangerous. They knew it. And Duke's like, well, we want him to have a tough fight. Records are very deceiving, very deceiving. Giuseppe Denatali, look him up. He won a K1 heavyweight Grand Prix, and him and Duke are friends, and I'm sure he was like, well, we have this kid, and he has a losing record. He hasn't beat anybody yet, but he's a fucking dangerous guy. He is too, Vivian. And Ramdeen and I called Sergio's fight, and I don't even think he was 18. I think, and he head kicked this guy, took him out, and you could see right then, it's like, talented grassroots level guys, and Sergio's like not getting touched. 2011, that's it, only 6 years ago. He was just 18. And he's not getting touched, and he's drawing them in, tapping them, touching them up. So this has been going on for a long time with Sergio. So context. Yeah, I'm a fan of Henry Cejudo. And fuck, wouldn't it be cool if he can beat a great kid like Sergio, great talented. That's another thing about Sergio, if you follow him or see anything. This is a really positive, driven guy trying to do great things, trying to inspire people, trying to bring positivity. Like, he's a super, super positive, cool, happy, inspiring young dude. Yeah. 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 I don't know if you can hear Mark, maybe, but what Mark just said was, Duke was telling us, I don't know, some of it maybe was on camera on the YouTube channel, but even off camera, he was like, the kid's maybe 22 at the time, maybe 23 at the time, and he's inspiring Duke, a grown man with a family, to be more positive and live his life in a better way that enriches other people's lives. That's fucking cool for a kid, right? And incredibly talented, somebody you can look up to, and go out, find Sergio, follow him wherever. And Henry too. It's a fucking gold medalist. Chased the dream all the way to the gold medal. So we've got a really cool fight here. The issue is if you're Sergio, Duke, Showtime, their team, we're hoping this guy will play that because we know we can outplay that game. He looked great against Wilson Hayes. We'll look like him in that fight, and he'll look like Wilson Hayes. But of course, Cejudo knows that. Or that will be revealed early enough that he will then have to play a bit of an aggression game, try to strike Sergio so he can get the body lock or get a single leg or something. And when that happens, it'll be very interesting. It's a really cool fight. A lot of the things that we say or that the way we lean are the things that we heard before or saw before or things that we learned before. But these guys are different, think differently, and fight differently. And so the conversation, Sergio's an amazing striker. Yeah, but Henry's new striking game, that's probably not as true as we think. And yeah, but Henry's a Olympic gold medalist. If he gets Sergio down, also not as true as we think, because they never surrender it. And Sergio's dangerous. He will threaten. That's another really interesting thing now. Watch over the next 3-4 months the amount of elbows people attacking from the bottom, from in guard, and the amount of submission attempts that are coming from guard. Mike did it to George. Tony Ferguson did it to our man, Motown Phenom. We're seeing it everywhere. And suddenly people are going, oh, shit. We kept saying the guard was dead. It didn't work. We used it to get up. Mike almost finished. He could have possibly had George out of there. The refs might have, or doctor might have stopped it. Tony fucked Kevin up there. how many times you have to see it till you know it's true. So, and the Pettis brothers, badasses in guard. So, a lot of really cool things happening in this fight. Very inspiring young men. Just fucking enjoy this one. Just get into it, sit down, crank some music. Well, actually, you got Joe and Anik and probably Cruz maybe. So these guys, they're worth listening to. They'll enrich your experience of the fight. And eat something or drink a beer or smoke weed or whatever your thing is and fucking enjoy this fight. It's a beautiful fight between incredibly young, talented guys, inspiring guys. And we'll see you guys in Detroit. Enjoy the hostilities, my friends.